All right, picture this.
Okay.
You're sitting there Saturday morning,
Mm-hmm.
having your coffee.
Hmm.
The sun is shining,
Okay.
birds are singing, and suddenly your doorbell starts going crazy.
What?
Not just once,
Oh,
like
no.
over and over again.
Oh, my God.
You open the door and bam!
Wait.
You're facing a mountain of 1,700 identical letters.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the world of Mr. Quickborn,
Who is this?
a German taxpayer who seems to have won the grand prize
Oh, my.
in the bureaucracy lottery.
Sounds like a nightmare that even Kafka himself couldn't have come up with.
You know, the weekend's just starting, and then
Oh, man.
this is exactly what happened to Mr. Quickborn.
Yeah, okay.
And Stephen Pinkwart captured this absurd story
Okay.
in his article, Taxpayer or Luckless Fellow.
Interesting.
Today, we're diving deep into this bureaucratic madness
I like it.
and trying to figure out what we can learn from this story.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that maybe we should all move to Monaco.
Yeah, good point.
I can't wait to see what we uncover.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe we'll find the ultimate guide
Yeah.
to avoiding paper avalanches.
Let's hope so.
Or at least some good arguments for the next poetry slam. So, back to Mr. Quickborn.
Okay.
He's enjoying his Saturday morning
Hmm.
when the postman rings the doorbell.
Yeah.
And not just once,
No.
but like he's about to rip it out of the wall.
Really?
When Mr. Quickborn opens the door,
Yeah.
he's facing a mountain of paper
Wow.
that probably depleted the Amazon rainforest
Oh, jeez.
by a few trees.
Wow.
The postman, dripping with sweat,
Oh, no.
throws the last pile of letters at his feet
Wow.
and just says, "Good luck with that."
Oh, boy. I can imagine the
Yeah.
alarm bells going off in Mr. Quickborn's head
Oh, yeah.
right then and there.
Right.
The typical German reflex kicks in, right?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Did I deduct my neighbor's goldfish as business expenses?
Oh, man, I know. Right?
Or my lawnmower as a diet device?
You know,
Tax office equals heart attack, right?
that's the feeling.
Yeah.
But this time, Mr. Quickborn was actually innocent.
Well,
Let go.
innocent in the sense that
Right.
he didn't commit tax fraud, right?
Yeah.
The culprit for this paper disaster
Okay.
was an IT error triggered by daylight saving time.
Really?
You heard that right, daylight saving time.
You're kidding?
Who would have thought
Not me.
that switching to summertime could cause such chaos?
That's almost funny.
Isn't it?
You change the clock by 1 hour,
Yeah.
and suddenly the printer spits out 1,700 identical letters.
Crazy.
Makes you wonder, who programmed this algorithm?
I know, right?
A drunk monkey?
Maybe.
Or maybe just an intern at the tax office?
Oh, you know.
The irony is that these letters
What about them?
were just simple applications for online tax access.
Oh, really?
So they're trying to avoid paperwork.
Yeah.
And in return, you get a paper avalanche.
Of epic proportions dumped on your doorstep.
1,700 letters.
Oh, my.
All identical.
Unbelievable.
Each containing the same access code for the online tax portal.
What does a normal person do
I don't know.
in a situation like that?
Probably have a drink first, right?
Yeah, maybe two.
Mr. Quickborn's first reaction was panic.
Oh, God.
Was he stuck in a time loop?
Oh, my gosh.
Was it a hidden camera prank?
Hmm.
Or had he secretly taken over the world in his sleep?
Yeah.
And the tax office wanted its share.
Nope, even worse.
Wow.
It was just good old German bureaucracy.
Oh, man. Sometimes you get the feeling
Don't you?
that the tax office is a monster
Yeah.
that feeds on mountains of paper
It's true.
and uses taxpayers as pawns
Yep.
in its sadistic game.
It really is.
And here comes the kicker.
What's that?
The tax office offered to collect the letters,
Oh, really?
probably afraid
Yeah.
that Mr. Quickborn would rebuild the Berlin Wall with them.
I can see that.
But Mr. Quickborn refused.
He did.
They should see what they've done, he said. I think that's when the rebel in him awakened.
I love that.
Instead of simply throwing the letters away,
What did he do?
he had a much more creative idea.
What's that?
He built an igloo out of the letters on his balcony
Wow.
and called it art.
That is amazing.
I imagine the neighbors taking pictures,
I know.
thinking they've discovered a new Banksy.
Totally.
Is this art,
That is
protest, or just a therapy session
Maybe.
to cope with the madness?
Could be all three.
Pinkwart connects this anecdote
Okay.
in his article with a discussion about
Oh.
poetry slam techniques.
Interesting.
He shows how, even from such absurd experiences,
I like it.
you can draw creative energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a little shock
Right.
to get the creative juices flowing.
I agree. I love it. The audience loves self-irony.
Right.
And who can claim to have received 1,700 love letters
Yeah.
from the tax office?
Exactly. You could almost be jealous.
Totally.
Pinkwart's second tip is find your personal time loop effect.
Okay.
Repetitions in the text can have a magical effect
They can.
if you use them right.
Yeah, repetitions are like the hot sauce of rhetoric.
That's a good one.
Too much of it burns your taste buds.
It does.
But in the right dosage, they give the whole thing the necessary kick.
Exactly.
Right.
Pinkwart gives the example of the sentence.
Okay.
I am not a mistake. I am not a mistake. I am not a mistake.
Oh, wow.
But sometimes I wish I were one. Then I could be deleted.
Wow. That has something poetic about it.
It does.
And at the same time, a certain tragedy.
It
You
does.
can feel the despair resonating in this repetition.
And Pinkwart's third tip.
Okay, what is it?
Use bureaucracy as a metaphor for chaos.
Well, bureaucracy itself is already a metaphor for chaos, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
an impenetrable jungle of forms.
It is.
Paragraphs and clerks who feed on coffee and file folders.
Oh, man. So true.
Isn't it?
Pinkwart suggests the comparison, for example.
Okay.
Life is like a tax return. Confusing, complicated, and in the end, you get back more than you expected.
Yeah, and
But none of it is what you need.
you can't describe it any better.
Right.
You fight your way through paragraphs,
Right.
and in the end, you're sitting there with a fat tax bill
You are.
and wonder if you shouldn't have grown bananas in Costa Rica.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pinkwart then transfers these tips to the world of poetry slam
Okay.
and draws interesting parallels to Mr. Quickborn's story.
Oh.
He emphasizes that the absurd is good.
It's
Absurdity is gold.
It is.
On stage, people love stories that are so crazy
They do.
that they can't be true.
They love those.
But they are.
And what's more absurd than 1,700 identical letters from the tax office?
Right.
You can almost be happy
You can.
that this mishap happened to Mr. Quickborn.
Yeah.
Imagine he had just thrown the letters away.
Right.
What a story we would have missed out on.
Exactly. And then the strategic repetition.
Yeah.
Just as Mr. Quickborn received the same letter over and over again. You can achieve a strong effect on stage
You can.
with targeted repetitions.
Yes, you can.
Just think of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream.
Right.
The power of repetition in its purest form.
Absolutely. Repetitions create rhythm, tension,
They do.
and they stick in your memory.
They do.
But be careful. You shouldn't overdo it.
No.
Otherwise, it quickly becomes monotonous and boring.
Right.
As with everything in life, the dose makes the poison.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, of course, the use of concise metaphors.
Yes.
The tax office as a poorly programmed algorithm.
I like that.
That's an image that everyone understands immediately.
It is. Metaphors are like little flashes of genius.
They are.
They illuminate complex issues and make them tangible.
And not to forget,
What's that?
dark humor.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a secret weapon on stage.
It is. Dark humor is like a good red wine.
Okay.
It should be enjoyed in moderation.
Yeah.
Too much of it can lead to headaches.
It can.
Mm-hmm.
Pinkwart suggests, for example, I thought the letters were a sign, a signal from a parallel world.
Okay.
Maybe the tax office is hell and I'm already dead.
Macabre. But somehow also brilliant.
It is.
You have to have the courage to break taboos.
That's what makes black humor so effective.
It is.
And Pinkwart knows what he's talking about.
He does.
In his book, Poetry Master, The Power of Poetry in 7 Days,
Yes.
he explains all these techniques in more detail
He does.
and shows how to use them successfully.
That sounds like a must-read for anyone who wants to improve their stage presence.
It does.
Whether at a poetry slam, at the pub, or at the next family gathering.
It is. Pinkwart says at the end of his article
Uh-huh.
that Mr. Quickborn folded an origami dragon
What?
out of the 1,700 letters
Wow.
that now flies over the tax office.
Really?
A nice image, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Almost as nice as imagining
Yeah.
the responsible clerk at the tax office arriving at work in the morning
Yeah.
and wondering if he had one too many the night before.
Oh, that's good.
What would you do with 1,700 identical letters, confetti, for the next tax return party?
Oh, I'd frame them and sell them as art.
Really?
Yeah, title, Bureaucratic Madness, a portrait of our time.
Pinkwart's article is not just a funny anecdote,
No,
but it also makes you think.
it does.
It shows us that even in the most absurd situations,
Yeah,
we still have control over our lives.
that's true.
We can decide how we react.
You can?
We can get angry and give up,
Yeah,
or we can take the situation with humor
yeah.
and make something creative out of it.
That's right.
Humor is the best weapon against bureaucratic madness.
It really is.
If you can't win, at least you can laugh about it.
Exactly.
And Pinkwork gives us concrete tips
He does.
on how to apply this philosophy in our own lives.
Yes.
For example, at a poetry slam.
Right.
But I think these techniques can be applied in many other areas as well.
I agree.
Whether in writing, presenting, or simply in everyday life.
Absolutely.
It's about finding your own stories. Yes, telling them with passion.
It is.
And thinking outside the box.
That's right.
Be brave, try new things,
Yeah.
and don't let yourself be limited by conventions.
Exactly.
As Pinkwork says so beautifully.
What's that?
Be creative.
Love it.
In this sense.
Yes.
Let yourselves be inspired by Mr. Quickborn and Stephen Pinkwork.
Okay.
Take your life into your own hands. Be brave, be creative.
Yes.
And transform your own experiences.
Uh-huh.
Even the absurd and frustrating ones
Yeah.
into something special.
Yes.
And if you need even more inspiration,
Okay.
check out Pinkwork's book, Poetry Master, The Power of Poetry in 7 Days.
Definitely. The book is a real treasure trove for anyone
It is.
who wants to take their creative writing to a new level.
Be creative, Stefan.
You too.
Until the next deep dive.